Are you still awake? The night is soft, its quiet wrapping around you like a worn blanket, and only those who linger in the stillness dare to hear the tales history whispers in its dreams. Tonight let me carry you across the sands to a place where gold glints in the sunlight and a kingdom's heartbeat echoes in the dust. It's 1300 CE, and you stand in the bustling market of Timbuktu in the heart of the Mali Empire, where the air hums with life and secrets. The sun is high, its heat pressing against your skin, though the breeze carries the faint coolness of the Niger River miles away. Your sandals scuff the sandy earth, stirring clouds of dust that smell of baked clay and distant spices, saffron, cinnamon, and the sharp tang of salt more precious than gold. You're a weaver, your fingers calloused from threading looms, your tunic stained with the ochre dye you spilled this morning. Around you, the market pulses, traders shout over piles of kola nuts. Bolts of indigo cloth ripple like waves, and camels groan under the weight of their burdens. The air is alive with the clink of cowrie shells and the low murmur of voices in a dozen tongues, Songhai, Arabic, Mandinka. You pause by a stall where a griot, his robes bright as a sunset, strums a kora, its strings singing of Mali's new king Mansa Musa. His name is on everyone's lips, a ruler so wealthy they say his gold could drown the Nile. Historians know this as the dawn of Musa's reign, when Mali's empire stretched from the Atlantic to the Sahara, its trade routes weaving a web of wealth across West Africa. But whispers in the market hint at something more, a king whose ambition might outshine even his riches. Was Musa chosen by divine will, or did he seize the throne through cunning? The griots sing of destiny, but no one knows for sure, and the truth lies buried in unwritten songs. You brush past a pile of salt slabs, their edges rough under your fingers, and catch the eye of a trader named Kofi, his beard flecked with dust. He's haggling with a Tuareg merchant, waving a hand dramatically. This salt's worth half your camel friend, Kofi insists, though his grin betrays the jest. The Tuareg rolls his eyes, muttering, and your tongue's worth half my patience. You chuckle, adjusting the basket of dyed thread on your shoulder. Kofi's always been like this, full of charm, even when he's losing a deal. Careful, Kofi, you call softly, or you'll trade your voice before your goods. He winks, tossing you a kola nut. For your trouble, weaver. Maybe it'll make your threads sing like the griot's kora. The nut is bitter as you chew its tang, grounding you in the market's chaos. You wander toward a stall selling amulets, their faience beads glinting like stars. A child darts past, nearly knocking over a basket of dates, and you steady it with a laugh. Slow down, little one, or you'll trade places with the camels. The child giggles, vanishing into the crowd. The market's energy is infectious, but beneath it lies a tension. Traders whisper of Musa's plans, caravans preparing for a great journey, gold flowing like water. Some say he'll build mosques, others murmur of conquest. The griot's song shifts its notes softer now, telling of a king who walks with the weight of a kingdom's dreams. You pause, your fingers tracing a bead shaped like a crescent moon. Its cool surface feels like a promise, but of what historians debate, whether Musa's wealth was a blessing or a burden, whether his generosity strengthened Mali or sowed seeds of envy. The market offers no answers, only the rhythm of voices, the scent of dust, and the griot's fading melody. You turn toward home, the sun dipping low, casting long shadows across the sand. The kola nut's bitterness lingers like the mystery of a king whose name would echo beyond the desert, then fade into silence. You stand at the edge of Timbuktu's market, the dawn of 1307 CE, painting the sky in hues of apricot and rose. The air is cool, carrying the scent of dew-soaked earth and the faint musk of animals from the caravan trail. Your hands still rough from weaving, clutch a bundle of indigo cloth you hope to trade today. The market is quieter now, the stalls just beginning to stir, but the horizon hums with the promise of new arrivals. You hear it before you see it, the low bellow of camels, the creak of wooden carts, and the soft jingle of bells tied to their loads. The caravan emerges from the desert like a mirage, its line of beasts stretching into the haze. Traders shout greetings, their voices mingling with the bleat of goats and the clatter of salt slabs being unloaded. This is the lifeblood of Mali, historians note, when trade routes linked Timbuktu to distant cities like Gao and Jenne, carrying gold, salt, and ivory across the Sahara. The caravan's arrival signals Mali's growing power under Mansa Musa, whose name is whispered as the source of the gold glinting in the traders' hands. But what drove this wealth? Was it Musa's strategic brilliance, or simply the luck of Mali's goldfields? The question lingers unanswered in the desert's vast silence. You step closer, the sand gritty under your sandals, and watch as a camel, its hump sagging under a load of salt, stops dead in its tracks. Its handler, a wiry man named Sidi, tugs at the reins, muttering curses. "Move, you stubborn pile of fur, or I'll trade you for a goat." The camel blinks lazily, chewing cud as if Sidi's threats are a lullaby. You stifle a laugh, remembering Kofi's jests from the market last week. His kola nut still sits in your pocket, a small talisman. "Sidi, maybe it's waiting for Musa's gold to lighten its load," you tease, your voice soft in the morning air. Sidi glares, but his lips twitch. "If Musa's gold could move this beast, I'd be king myself." The crowd chuckles, and a child nearby mimics the camel's chew, earning a playful swat from his mother. The moment breaks the tension, but the caravan's wealth is staggering: baskets of gold dust, bolts of silk, and strange shells from lands you've never seen. You trade your cloth for a small pouch of salt, its weight reassuring in your hand, though you wonder if it's worth as much as Sidi's patience. The lead trader, a woman with silver-streaked hair, calls out orders, her voice sharp but kind. "Careful with that gold amara," she snaps at a young man fumbling a sack. "It's not your mother's millet." You smile, but the gold's gleam catches your eye. It said Musa's mines produce more than all the kingdoms of the north combined, yet no one knows how much he truly controls. Some say he hoards it in hidden vaults. Others claim he gives it freely to honor his god. The truth, like the desert's edge, is impossible to pin down. You wander back to your stall, the sun now warming your shoulders, the market waking fully. The camel finally moves, prompted by a handful of grain, and Sidi's triumphant shout draws another laugh. The caravan's goods pile high, a testament to Mali's reach, but the whispers of Musa's plans grow louder. Is he building a legacy or tempting fate? You clutch your salt, its grain slipping through your fingers, and head home, the desert song following you into the day's heat. Don't leave too early tonight. Some stories are so vast, like the desert itself, that if you drift away too soon, they might slip through your fingers like sand. It's 1312 CE, and you stand in the royal court of Niani, the heart of the Mali Empire, where the air is thick with the scent of frankincense and the murmur of a crowd awaiting a new king. Your feet, bare against the cool clay floor, tingle from the long walk to the capital. You're a basket weaver, your hands woven with scars from twisting palm fronds, and today you've come to deliver a gift. A basket for the coronation of Mansa Musa, the man whose name hums like a distant storm. The court is a marvel, its mud brick walls painted with ochre swirls that catch the torchlight, casting shadows that dance like spirits. Drummers beat a slow rhythm, their hands steady on stretched goatskin, while griots chant praises that weave history into song. You clutch your basket, its fibers rough under your fingers, and feel small beneath the high roof of woven reeds. Today, Musa is crowned his reign, officially beginning after years of regency, a moment historians mark as the start of Mali's golden age. The throne, carved with geometric patterns, gleams with gold leaf, a testament to the empire's wealth. But a priest nearby whispers of a prophecy scrawled on a now lost parchment predicting a king who will either save or doom Mali. Was it about Musa? No one knows, and the ambiguity haunts the court like a shadow. You edge closer, your basket heavy with anticipation, and catch sight of Musa himself. He's younger than you expected, his face calm, but his eyes sharp like a hawk scanning the horizon. His robes dyed deep indigo shimmer with gold thread, and a single kola nut rests in his hand, a nod to the traders who fuel his empire. You overhear a courtier, her voice low, complaining to another, "He holds that nut like it's worth more than my dowry." You smile, remembering Kofi's kola nut from the Timbuktu market still tucked in your pouch. Maybe it's a sign of luck or just a reminder of home. "Careful, weaver," a voice teases. "It's your friend AWA, a bead worker with a laugh as bright as her glass trinkets." She's standing nearby, her arms crossed, a string of beads dangling from her wrist. You're staring at the Mansa like he's one of your baskets, planning to weave him into a story. You chuckle softly, shifting the basket's weight. "If I could weave a King AWA, I'd make him less fond of prophecies." She grins, but her eyes flicker to the priests who are sprinkling salt on the floor, a ritual for purity, though one priest spills too much, earning a glare from his elder. Clumsy as a camel in a sandstorm, AWA mutters, and you both stifle laughs. The court's solemnity feels lighter for a moment, but the weight returns as Musa rises, his voice steady as he speaks of unity and faith. The crowd hushes, the drums pause, and you feel the empire's pulse in the silence. He speaks of a journey, a pilgrimage to a distant holy city, though he doesn't name it. The griots will later sing of his Hajj, but now it's just a promise heavy with possibility. You step forward to present your basket, your heart thudding like the drums. A guard takes it, his calloused hand brushing yours, and you wonder if it will ever reach the Mansa. As you retreat, the prophecy's mystery lingers. Did Musa believe in it, or was it a tale to rally his people? Historians debate whether he ruled by divine guidance or calculated ambition, but the court offers no answers, only the flicker of torches and the scent of incense. You slip back into the crowd, Awa's beads clinking softly beside you, and head toward the palace gates. The night air waits outside, cool and vast, carrying the echo of a king's shadow that will stretch far beyond these walls. The night is quiet, but its stillness hums with stories that refuse to sleep. Lie down, let your eyes grow heavy, and follow me to 1324 CE, where you stand on the edge of Niani, the sun just rising over the savannah, its light gilding the grass like molten gold. You're a camel herder, your hands rough from ropes and your tunic dusted with the red earth of the Mali Empire. Today you've joined a caravan unlike any other stretching across the horizon, its camels laden with gold silk and the dreams of Mansa Musa, who is setting out on his pilgrimage to Mecca. The air smells of dry grass and the musky sweat of beasts, their bells jingling softly as they sway. Your camel, a stubborn creature you've named Binta, snorts and tugs at her, lead her hooves sinking into the soft earth. The caravan is massive. Historians estimate 60,000 people, from slaves to scholars and camels, carrying hundreds of pounds of gold. This is Musa's Hajj, a journey that will etch his name into history, spreading Mali's fame across continents. But why so grand? Was it piety or a display of power to rival empires? The question hangs like dust in the air, unanswered by the griot's songs. You adjust Binta's load, her saddlebags heavy with water skins, and glance at the Mansa's tent, its green silk catching the dawn's glow. A poet nearby, his turban slightly askew, strums an ngoni and sings an odd tune about a camel that outran the wind. He's got the rhythm of a drunk goat, mutters a fellow herder, Malik, his grin wide as he polishes a bronze dagger. You laugh, nudging him. Better than your singing, Malik. You'd scare the camels to Mecca faster than Musa. He chuckles, but the poet's song falters when Binta swings her head, knocking his ngoni into the dirt. By the stars he yelps, dusting it off. This beast has no respect for art. The caravan laughs a ripple of lightness in the morning's wait. You pat Binta's flank, whispering, "Good girl," though you're not sure she deserves it. Her stubbornness reminds you of Sidi's camel in Timbuktu, refusing to budge under its salt load. Maybe camels carry the empire's secrets better than its people. The caravan moves a slow river of bodies and beasts, the earth trembling under thousands of feet. You walk beside Binta, the rope course against your palms, and catch snippets of talk scholars debating theology, traders boasting of gold, and a griot claiming Musa's wealth could buy the moon. The Mansa himself rides ahead, his figure small but commanding, surrounded by guards whose spears glint like fire. You wonder what drives him. Faith, glory. The griots sing of a man chosen by Allah, but some whisper he seeks to secure Mali's place among nations. The truth is as distant as Mecca itself. The sun climbs, warming your shoulders, and the savannah stretches endless before you. A child runs past, tossing a pebble that startles Binta, who snorts and nearly topples a water skin. "Careful, little one," you call, "or you'll be hurting this beast yourself." He giggles, darting away, and the caravan's rhythm pulls you forward. The road to Mecca is long, but its promise of faith, fame, or something unspoken hovers like a mirage. You grip Binta's rope, the poet's song rising again, and step into the journey, the Mali Empire's heart beating in every step. Now turn out the lights, lie down, and let me take you through a dream of history that has not yet rested. It's 1324 CE, and you're deep in the Sahara, a speck in the vast caravan of Mansa Musa, trudging through dunes that shimmer like waves frozen in time. You're a cook, your hands stained with saffron and your apron singed from tending fires for the thousands following the Mansa to Mecca. The air is dry, carrying the scent of dust and the faint sweetness of dates packed in woven baskets. The sun hangs low, painting the sand gold, and the soft clink of gold-laden saddlebags hums like a lullaby. Your fire crackles, its smoke curling into the twilight as you stir a pot of millet porridge for the camp. The caravan has stopped for the night, a city of tents sprawling across the desert. Mansa Musa's pilgrimage, historians note, was a spectacle of wealth. 100 camels carrying gold, each load worth a fortune enough to stun the world. Tonight you're near the Mansa's own tent, a massive structure of silk and leather, its poles studded with gold that catches the firelight like stars. But what was the purpose of such display? Was Musa proving Mali's might, or simply fulfilling his faith? The question lingers as elusive as the desert's horizon. You wipe sweat from your brow, the heat of the fire mixing with the day's lingering warmth. Nearby, a tent collapses with a soft thud, its ropes loosened by a clumsy guard named Tariq. By the sands, he curses, scrambling to fix it as laughter ripples through the camp. You grin, calling out, "Tariq, you'd topple the Mansa's throne next." He waves you off, muttering about cursed knots, but the fallen tent reveals a glimpse of gold chests stacked high, glinting through the fabric. The sight stops your breath. You've cooked for traders, but this wealth could feed a kingdom. "Careful," cook teases Amina, a water carrier, with a sly smile, her clay jug balanced on her hip. "Stare too long and you'll burn the porridge." You chuckle, stirring the pot, the wooden spoon smooth in your hand. "Better than burning my dreams, Amina." Maybe I'll trade my ladle for one of those chests." She laughs, her jug sloshing softly, and you think of Awa's beads and Niani, their clink a distant echo of this moment. The camp feels alive, yet fragile, a fleeting city under the stars. The Mansa emerges from his tent, his silhouette tall against the firelight. He speaks quietly to a scholar, their words lost in the crackle of your fire, but you catch the word Mecca and feel the weight of his journey. The gold that tents the thousands following historians debate whether this was a spiritual quest or a calculated show to elevate Mali's name. The collapsed tent, now righted, hides the gold again, but its gleam lingers in your mind. Was it meant to be seen, a message to the world? You stir the porridge, its steam warm on your face, and serve a bowl to a passing guard who nods thanks. A camel snorts nearby, its bell jingling, reminding you of Binta's stubbornness on the road. If only camels cooked, you mutter, and Amina overhears giggling. They'd eat the fire first. The camp settles, the stars bright above, and you bank the fire, its embers glowing like the gold you glimpsed. The desert stretches silent around you, holding Musa's secrets. You lie back on your mat, the sand cool beneath you, and let the caravan's rhythm, soft bells, distant voices carry you toward sleep. The Mansa's tent stands tall, a golden dream in the night, but its true purpose remains a whisper in the wind. Perhaps you, like me, carry with you an era that no one speaks of anymore, but tonight I will. It's still 1324 CE, and you've reached Cairo, a city of minarets and chaos where Mansa Musa's caravan has paused on its pilgrimage to Mecca. You're a cloth dyer, your hands stained blue from indigo, your tunic stiff with dried sweat from the desert crossing. The market air is thick with the scents of roasted lamb cumin and the faint must of the Nile nearby. The sun blazes, its light bouncing off whitewashed walls, and the crowd's roar is a living thing, swallowing the clatter of carts and the cries of hawkers. You stand in the bazaar, a maze of stalls piled with silks, spices, and brass lamps that gleam like small suns. Musa's arrival has turned Cairo upside down. Historians record that his gold flooded the markets, crashing the value of the dinar for years. Traders shout, offering carpets for gold dust, while children weave through the crowd, dodging donkeys laden with figs. You've come to sell your dyed cloth, but the talk is all of Musa, whose gifts of gold have left merchants dazed. Did he spend so freely to honor his faith, or to ensure Mali's name echoed in every court? The mystery swirls like the dust under your sandals. You pause by a spice stall, the sharp scent of saffron stinging your nose, and overhear a merchant named Omar, his turban lopsided, boasting to a customer. "I traded with the Mansa himself, gave him my best cloves for a nugget big as my fist." The customer snorts. "Your fists are small, Omar." You smile, fingering a bolt of your cloth, its blue deep as the night sky. Omar's exaggeration reminds you of Kofi's tall tales in Timbuktu, his kola nuts still await in your pouch. Careful dyer calls a fruit seller, her voice cutting through the noise. "Your cloth's so blue it'll make the Nile jealous." You laugh, tossing her a small coin for a handful of dates. "If the Nile wants it, it'll have to pay better than you." She cackles, and the moment feels light, but the market's frenzy is overwhelming. Gold changes hands faster than words, and you see a guard from Musa's caravan, his spear gleaming, buying a silver ring with a casual pinch of gold dust. The wealth is staggering, yet you wonder if it's a blessing or a weight. You move through the crowd, your cloth bundled under your arm, and catch sight of a mosque's minaret, its tiles glinting green. Musa's scholars are said to be meeting there discussing theology, but whispers hint at political talks too. Did he come to Cairo to pray or to proclaim Mali's power? The market offers no answers, only the press of bodies and the tang of spices. A donkey brays startling you, and a child laughs, tossing a pebble that lands in your sandal. "Better than gold, eh?" he teases, darting off. You shake your head, smiling, and think of Tariq's fallen tent in the desert, another fleeting moment in this golden journey. The sun dips, casting long shadows, and you find a buyer for your cloth, his coins cool in your palm. The market hums on alive with Musa's legacy, but its true meaning slips away like the Nile's current. You head toward the city's edge, the call to prayer rising, and let Cairo's chaos fade behind you, carrying the weight of a king's gold in your thoughts. Outside, the night hums with a quiet that feels like a held breath. But here in this moment, let me guide you to a place where wisdom glows brighter than gold. It's 1327 CE, and you sit on a woven mat in the courtyard of Timbuktu's Sankore Mosque, the Mali Empire's heart of learning. You're a scribe, your fingers stained with ink, your reed pen worn from copying manuscripts. The air is warm, carrying the scent of sun-baked mud and the faint sweetness of palm wine from a nearby vendor. The mosque's minaret towers above its mud brick walls, etched with patterns that catch the late afternoon sun, casting shadows like lace across the ground. Around you, scholars murmur their voices, blending with the rustle of parchment and the soft clink of brass inkwells. The Sankore Mosque, part of Timbuktu's university, is a beacon of knowledge, historians note, built and expanded under Mansa Musa's patronage after his return from Mecca. Its libraries hold thousands of manuscripts, texts on astronomy, law, and poetry, drawing scholars from across the Islamic world. But a mystery lingers: how many of these texts were lost, and what secrets did they hold? Some say Musa himself commissioned works that were never shared, hidden away for reasons no one can name. You dip your pen in ink, its sharp tang filling your nose, and begin copying a page of poetry, the words flowing like the Niger. Nearby, a scholar named Idris, his turban slightly askew, knocks over his inkpot, sending a black splash across his mat. By the stars he groans, scrambling to blot it with his sleeve. You laugh softly, nudging him. "Idris, you're painting the mosque instead of the page." He glares, but his lips twitch. "Better than your handwriting, scribe." It looks like a camel's footprints. The courtyard chuckles, a warm ripple that reminds you of Amina's teasing by the desert fire. You glance at your own work, the ink smudged where your hand slipped. Maybe Idris has a point. The spilled ink reveals something odd, though a fragment of an older manuscript beneath Idris's mat, its script faded but hinting at a tale of Mali's founding. You point it out, and Idris squints, muttering, probably just another griot's exaggeration, but you wonder, was it a royal chronicle or something Musa ordered buried? The mosque's walls, thick with history, offer no answers, only the echo of scholars' debates. A breeze stirs, carrying the faint chant of a muezzin, and you pause, your pen hovering. The courtyard is alive with students, some young, some gray-haired, all drawn to Timbuktu's promise. You've heard Musa's gold funded this place, his pilgrimage inspiring a hunger for knowledge. But did he build Sankore to honor Allah or to cement Mali's legacy? Historians debate whether his generosity was spiritual or strategic, and the manuscript fragment now tucked away by Idris deepens the mystery. You resume writing the reed, scratching softly, and think of Kofi's kola nut still in your pouch, a small link to Timbuktu's market days. A student drops a book, its thud startling a pigeon that flaps into the sky. Clumsy as a camel in a library, Idris mutters, and you grin, the tension easing. The mosque's rhythm pulls you back, its air heavy with ink and ideas. You finish your page, the poetry speaking of stars and rivers, and rise to stretch the mat cool beneath your feet. The sun dips, painting the minaret gold, and you step toward the courtyard's edge, carrying the weight of unwritten stories. The mosque stands silent, guarding its secrets as you head home, the call to prayer fading into the dusk. Don't drift away just yet. Some stories, like the salt you'll taste tonight, are too precious to let slip through your fingers. It's 1330 CE, and you stand in the bustling market of Gao, a Mali Empire city, where the Niger River bends like a dreamer's sigh. You're a potter, your hands dusted with clay, your apron stiff from shaping jugs that hold water or grain. The market air is alive with the scents of roasted peanuts, dried fish, and the sharp, clean bite of salt slabs stacked high under woven awnings. The sun burns its light glinting off the river, and the crowd's hum mingles with the bleat of goats and the soft clank of cowrie shells. You're here to trade a jug for salt, a necessity as vital as gold in Mali's markets. Historians note that Gao was a key trading hub where salt from the Sahara met gold from Mali's mines, fueling the empire's wealth under Mansa Musa. The traders' stalls brim with goods, cola nuts, leather, and beads that shimmer like the river's surface. But the talk is of Musa's palace in Niani, said to be so grand its walls gleam with gold. How much was true, and how much was Griot's exaggeration? The stories vary, leaving historians to wonder if the palace was a symbol of power or a myth to rival Mecca's splendor. You approach a salt trader named Yahya, his turban bright with red dye, who's boasting to a crowd. I've seen the Mansa's palace floors of gold, ceilings of stars. A buyer, her basket heavy with millet, snorts, "Yahya, your tongue's more golden than any palace." You chuckle, setting your jug down its clay, cool against your palm. "Careful, Yahya," you tease, "or you'll trade your stories before your salt." He grins, tossing you a small salt chunk. "For you potter a taste of my truth." The salt is sharp on your tongue, grounding you in the market's chaos. You think of Omar's boasts in Cairo, his lopsided turban a cousin to Yahya's flair. A donkey brays nearby, knocking over a basket of dates, and a child laughs, scrambling to gather them. "Faster, or the donkey gets your supper," you call, and the child giggles, tossing a date your way. The moment feels light, but the trader's tales carry weight. They speak of Musa's gold flowing like the Niger, yet some whisper of debts he left in Cairo, a shadow on his generosity. Was his wealth a blessing or a burden? The market holds no answers, only the rhythm of trade. You barter your jug for a slab of salt, its edges rough under your fingers. Yahya throws in a small bead, winking, "For your next masterpiece, potter." You nod, tucking it beside Kofi's cola nut in your pouch, a growing collection of the empire's pulse. The sun climbs, warming your shoulders, and you move through the market, catching a griot's song about Musa's palace, grand, yes, but maybe not as golden as Yahya claims. The mystery of its true splendor lingers like the salt's taste on your lips. You head toward the river, the market's noise fading, and let Gao's bustle slip behind you, carrying the echo of a king's myth in your hands. Are you still awake? The night wraps around you like a soft shawl, its silence inviting stories that hum in the dark like distant stars. It's 1335 CE, and you sit on a woven mat in a Niani village square, the heart of the Mali Empire glowing under a crescent moon. You're a leather worker, your hands rough from tanning hides, the faint scent of cured leather clinging to your tunic. The air is warm, laced with the smoky sweetness of roasting yams and the earthy tang of the Niger River nearby. A fire crackles in the center of the square, its light dancing on the faces of villagers gathered to hear a griot whose voice weaves the past into the present. The griot, an old man named Demba, strums a kora, its strings humming like a river's flow. his robes patched but vibrant sway as he sings of Mali's origins, kings and heroes born from the savannah's dust. Historians note that griots were the empire's memory-preserving oral histories of Mansa Musa's reign and the Sundiata epic which tells of Mali's founding. But tonight, Demba's song hints at a lost tale, a queen who ruled before Sundiata. Was she real or a griot's flourish? The mystery lingers as no written record confirms her, and the oral tradition shifts with each teller. You lean closer, the mat cool beneath you, and adjust a leather strap you're mending. Demba's kora falters when he drops his drumstick, the small wooden rod clattering on the ground. By the ancestors, he grumbles, retrieving it with a theatrical sigh. The crowd laughs, and you call out softly, "Demba, your stick's got more rhythm than your song." He winks his eyes bright in the firelight. "Careful, leatherworker, or I'll sing your hides into a ballad." The villagers chuckle, and you think of Idris's spilled ink in the Sankore Mosque, another clumsy moment tying you to Timbuktu's scholars. Demba resumes his voice low, singing of a queen who led warriors under a blood-red moon. The fire pops, sending sparks skyward, and you wonder if her story is true or woven to inspire. Your neighbor, a weaver named Fatu, leans over her bracelets, clinking. "He's making it up," she whispers. "Last week it was a king with a talking camel." You grin, remembering Yaya's golden palace tales in Gao. "Maybe the camel was the queen," you whisper back, and she stifles a laugh, nearly dropping her spindle. The song shifts to Musa, his wealth, a river that fed the empire. You've heard of his Hajj, the gold that stunned Cairo. But Demba adds a detail, a hidden gift to a desert tribe never recorded. Historians debate whether Musa's generosity was strategic or impulsive, and this tale adds to the puzzle. You mend your strap, the leather smooth under your fingers, and think of Kofi's kola nut still in your pouch beside Yaya's bead. The fire's warmth soothes you, but the queen's story nags. Was she erased by time or never existed? The griot's voice offers no clarity, only melody. A child tosses a pebble into the fire, sparking a small flare, and Fatu scolds, "Careful, or you'll burn the stars." The child giggles, and the square feels alive, bound by Demba's song. You finish your strap, the needle's rhythm matching the kora's hum, and lean back, the night air cool on your face. The griot's tale ends, leaving the queen's shadow in your mind. You rise the village quieting and head home, the fire's glow fading behind you. The Niger whispers nearby, carrying Mali's secrets, and you let its song lull you toward sleep. The night is soft, its quiet, a canvas for dreams that history paints in whispers. Lie down and let me take you to 1340 CE, where you drift on the Niger River in a wooden canoe, the Mali Empire's lifeblood lapping at your sides. You're a fisherman, your hands calloused from nets, your tunic damp with river spray. The air smells of wet reeds and the faint musk of fish, while the sun low in the sky gilds the water with ripples of gold. The river bends gently, its current slow, and the distant hum of a riverside village carries like a lullaby. You cast your net, its fibers rough against your palms, and watch it sink into the murky depths. The Niger is Mali's artery, historians say, linking cities like Timbuktu and Gao, carrying trade and tales under Mansa Musa's reign. Today your catch is meager, but the river holds more than fish. Last week a trader spoke of a royal relic, a golden amulet lost in these waters, a gift from Musa to a river god. Does it lie beneath you now, or is it a fisherman's tale? The mystery persists as no relic has been found, and stories of Musa's offerings blur fact and myth. Your canoe rocks as a fish tugs the net, but it's not a fish. You pull up a small tarnished bronze ring etched with a spiral glints in the net's weave. Well now, you murmur, turning it in your fingers, its metal cool and slick. Is it the relic or just a trader's lost trinket? You chuckle, thinking of Demba's dropped drumstick and Niani, another small surprise. A voice calls from the shore, caught the Mansa's crown, yet fisherman. It's your friend Candy, a basket weaver, her arms crossed as she grins from the bank. Not yet, you reply, holding up the ring. But this might buy your worst basket. She laughs, her voice bright. My baskets are worth more than your river junk. The jest lifts your spirits like Fatu's teasing in the village square. You tuck the ring into your pouch beside Kofi's cola nut and Yaya's bead, a growing collection of Molly's whispers. The river carries you past mangroves, their roots like fingers clutching the bank. Villagers on the shore barter fish for grain, their voices soft in the evening air. You hear talk of Musa's wealth, how his gold still shapes the empire, though some say his generosity weakened it. Did he give too much, or was his legacy built on giving? Historians debate this, their answers as murky as the Niger's depths. The ring in your pouch feels heavier now, a small mystery tied to the larger one. You pull your net again, empty this time, and let the current guide you. A heron flaps overhead, its cry sharp, and you smile, thinking of Candy's baskets. Maybe I'll trade this ring for one, you mutter, and the river seems to laugh, its ripples catching the fading light. The village grows distant, its sounds blending with the water's song. You steer toward the bank, your canoe gliding smoothly, and tie it to a root, the wood smooth under your hands. The ring's spiral haunts you, a hint of Molly's past, but the river keeps its secrets. You step ashore, the night settling around you, and let the Niger's gentle flow carry you toward dreams. Don't drift away just yet, for the night is a tapestry woven with tales that shimmer like stars over the desert. It's 1345 CE, and you sit cross-legged in a quiet corner of Timbuktu's Sankore University, the Mali Empire's beacon of learning. You're a bookbinder, your hands dusted with the scent of leather and the faint stickiness of gum arabic used to mend manuscripts. The air is warm, heavy, with the musty smell of parchment and the soft tang of ink drying in the late afternoon light. The room's mud-brick walls, etched with geometric patterns, glow faintly under the sun's rays, filtering through a lattice window, casting shadows like a griot's song. Around you, scholars hunch over tables, their voices a low hum as they debate a map spread before them, its edges curling like dried leaves. The map inked on goatskin shows Mali's borders stretching from the Atlantic to the Sahara, a testament to Mansa Musa's reign, which historians say made Timbuktu a global center of knowledge. But the map's eastern edge is smudged, its lines unclear. Does it show Mali's true reach, or did a scribe's hand falter? The scholars argue, one claiming it proves Mali's dominion over distant tribes, another insisting it's a copyist's error. The mystery persists as no other map confirms the truth, and Mali's borders remain a puzzle in the sands of time. You trim a leather strip for a book's spine, the knife's whisper blending with the scholars' voices. One of them, a young man named Bakari, knocks over a pile of scrolls, his face flushing as they tumble. By the Niger, he mutters, scrambling to gather them. You smile, calling softly, Bakari, you're binding chaos better than I bind books. He grins sheepishly, his turban slipping. Your books hold better than my patience, binder. The room chuckles, and you think of Idris's spilled ink in this same mosque years ago, a clumsy echo across time. The debate grows heated, a scholar pointing at the map's smudge. This proves Musa's empire reached Chad, he insists, while another scoffs, it's just a clumsy quill. You pause, your fingers brushing the leather, and glance at the map. Its lines seem to shift in the flickering light like the Niger's bends where you found that bronze ring still tucked in your pouch with Kofi's cola nut and Yaya's bead. The scholar's words weave a tapestry of Mali's power, but the map's ambiguity nags. Was Musa's reach as vast as they claim, or did griots inflate it for glory? The room offers no answers, only the rustle of parchment and the scratch of quills. A breeze slips through the window carrying the faint chant of a distant muezzin. You think of Demba's griot song in Niani, the tale of a forgotten queen, and wonder if this map hides her lands too. A student drops a quill, its feather drifting to the floor, and Bakari teases, "Careful, or you'll map the floor next." The laughter is soft, like the light fading outside. You finish binding a book, its leather smooth under your hands, and feel the weight of Mali's story. Did Musa's empire stretch as far as the map suggests, or was it a dream drawn in ink? Historians still debate, their voices echoing these scholars' arguments. You rise, stretching your cramped fingers, and step toward the courtyard where the minaret looms against a sky turning violet. The scholars' voices fade, but the map's mystery lingers like the rings spiral in your pouch. You walk home, the sand cool under your sandals, and let Timbuktu's quiet settle around you, its secrets whispering in the dusk. The night is gentle, its stillness a cradle for stories that glow like embers in the dark. It's 1350 CE, and you stand in Niani's central square, the Mali Empire's capital, pulsing with the rhythm of a festival honoring Mansa Musa's reign. You're a dancer, your ankles adorned with brass bells that jingle softly with each step, your tunic dyed crimson and swaying in the warm evening breeze. The air is rich with the scents of roasted goat-honeyed millet cakes and the smoky tang of burning cedar. Torches line the square, their flames casting a golden glow on mud-brick walls, and the crowd hums with laughter and song. Drums beat a steady pulse, their rhythm guiding dancers who swirl like leaves in the wind. Historians note that festivals like this celebrated Mali's wealth with Musa's gold funding feasts and displays that dazzled the empire. Tonight the square is alive with jugglers tossing painted gourds, griots, singing of Musa's Hajj, and children weaving through the crowd, their giggles rising like sparks. But whispers circulate about Musa's succession, who will follow the great king. A child's crown woven from straw and gold thread lies abandoned near a stall, its owner distracted by a sweet vendor. Is it a sign or just a child's whimsy? The question of succession remains a mystery, as Musa's heirs are rarely named in records, leaving historians to speculate. You adjust your bells, their chime blending with the drums, and join the dance, your feet light on the packed earth. A juggler nearby fumbles a gourd, sending it rolling into the crowd, and you laugh, calling, "Stick to dancing, friend, or you'll juggle the stars next." He grins, retrieving it with a bow. Better than your bells waking the ancestors. The crowd roars, and you think of Bakari's tumbled scrolls in Timbuktu, another moment of joyful chaos. A griot's voice rises, singing of Musa's gold flowing like the Niger, but the straw crown catches your eye again. You pick it up, its gold thread glinting, and hand it to a shy girl who beams. "Your crown, little queen," you say, and she giggles, running off. The moment feels light, but the succession talk weighs heavy. Some say Musa's brother will rule, others whisper of a hidden heir. The griot's song doesn't clarify, only weaves glory around Musa's name. You dance on your bells ringing and think of the bronze ring in your pouch, its spiral, a quiet link to the river's secrets. The festival pulses the air thick with heat and joy. A vendor offers you a millet cake, its honey sweet on your tongue, and you thank him, joking. "This is worth more than my bells." He laughs, waving you off. The drums quicken and you spin the square, a whirl of color and sound. Musa himself is said to watch from the palace, his shadow long but unseen. Did he plan for his empire's future or trust in its gold? The crown's mystery lingers like the festival's glow. You dance until the stars emerge, your breath heavy, and slip from the square, the bell's soft jingle trailing you home. Niani's lights fade and the night's quiet calls you to rest. Are you still awake? The night is a gentle veil, its silence weaving stories that linger like the scent of old parchment. It's 1355 CE, and you sit in a dimly lit corner of a Timbuktu library, a treasure trove of the Mali Empire's wisdom. You're a manuscript restorer, your fingers dusted with the fine powder of crushed gum arabic, your tunic faintly stained with ink from a long day's work. The air is heavy with the musty smell of aging leather and the faint sweetness of beeswax candles, their flames flickering like whispers on the mud brick walls. Shelves tower around you, groaning under the weight of manuscript texts on astronomy, law, and poetry stacked in orderly chaos. You're repairing a book of poetry, its pages brittle as dry leaves, when you notice a gap on a shelf, a space where a scroll should be. This library part of Sankore University is a legacy of Mansa Musa's reign, historians say, housing tens of thousands of manuscripts that drew scholars from across the Islamic world. But that missing scroll nags at you. Was it a chronicle of Musa's lesser-known deeds, perhaps his dealings with distant kings, or just a misplaced ledger? Historians debate the loss of Mali's written records, some claiming entire histories were hidden or destroyed, their secrets as elusive as the desert's edge. You brush dust from a page, its texture rough under your fingers, and glance at a nearby scholar, Aisha, her head bent over a star chart. She mutters, "This ink's faded worse than my patience," and you smile, remembering Bakari's tumbled scrolls in this same city. "Careful, Aisha," you tease softly, "or you'll misplace the stars next." She chuckles, but her quill slips, leaving a tiny blot. "Better than losing a scroll," she retorts, nodding at the empty shelf. The jest is light, but the gap feels heavy, like the bronze ring in your pouch still nestled beside Kofi's kola nut and Yaya's bead. You reach for another manuscript, its binding frayed, and find a note tucked inside a fragment of a letter, its script hurried, mentioning a gift to the north. Was it Musa's tied to his Hajj, or something else? The library's quiet offers no answers, only the soft scratch of quills and the creak of wood. You think of Demba's griot song in Niani, the tale of a forgotten queen, and wonder if this scroll held her name. Historians puzzle over Mali's unwritten stories, debating whether Musa suppressed certain records to shape his legacy. The candlelight flickers, casting shadows that seem to dance with secrets. A young student stumbles, knocking a book to the floor with a thud. Clumsy as a camel in a sandstorm, Aisha mutters, and you laugh, the sound soft in the library's hush. "Maybe he's chasing your stars," you say, and the student grins, retrieving the book. The moment eases the tension, but the missing scroll lingers in your mind. You mend the poetry book, the needle's rhythm soothing, and let the library's stillness wrap around you. The air grows cooler as night falls, the candle's glow fading. You rise, stretching your cramped hands, and step toward the door, the sand gritty under your sandals. The library stands silent, guarding its mysteries, and you head home, the weight of lost stories trailing you like dust. Outside, the stars are waking their light, a quiet invitation to dreams that history hasn't forgotten. It's 1360 CE, and you walk with a nomad caravan crossing the Sahara, the Mali Empire's golden veins stretching beneath the dunes. You're a water carrier, your shoulders aching under the weight of clay jugs, their surfaces cool and slick with condensation. The desert air is dry, smelling of sun-scorched sand and the faint musk of camels plodding ahead. The horizon glows faintly, the last of the day's heat shimmering like a mirage, and the soft jingle of camel bells hums like a distant song. Your caravan, small but vital, carries salt and cloth to trade in Timbuktu, a route that thrives on Mali's wealth even years after Mansa Musa's reign. Historians note that these trade networks built on gold and salt sustained the empire's power, linking it to distant cities. But tonight, around a fire, a nomad elder tells a tale of a hidden oasis guarded by a Mali queen who vanished centuries ago. Was she a myth like Demba's sung queen, or a forgotten ruler whose story the sands buried? The mystery persists as no records name her, and nomads' tales shift like the dunes. You set down a jug, its clay rough against your palms, and join the fire's circle. The elder, her face lined like the desert itself, pauses to sip from a gourd. A camel snorts, kicking up sand, and a young nomad, Idris, laughs. "That beast's got better stories than you, grandmother." You smile, calling out, "Careful, Idris, or she'll trade you for the camel." The group chuckles, and you think of Aisha's blot of ink in Timbuktu's library, another spark of humor in Mali's vast story. The elder resumes, her voice low, describing an oasis with waters clear as glass, guarded by a queen's spirit. You glance at your pouch where the bronze ring spiral rests beside Kofi's kola nut and Yaya's bead, and wonder if it came from such a place. The fire crackles, its warmth a comfort against the desert's chill. The nomads speak of Musa's gold still flowing through trade, but some whisper his successors falter. Did his wealth secure Mali's future or weaken its roots? Historians debate this, their answers as fleeting as the elder's tale. A jug slips from your hand, landing softly in the sand, and Idris teases water carrier, "You're watering the desert now." You laugh, retrieving it, the clay cool under your fingers. The fire's glow paints the nomads' faces, their stories weaving Mali's past into the night. The oasis tale lingers, its truth as uncertain as the stars above. You settle on your mat, the camel bells fading, and let the desert's whisper carry you toward sleep. The sand is cool beneath you, the elder's voice a soft echo, and you drift the queen's mystery, a faint shimmer in your dreams. The night is a soft whisper, its stillness cradling stories that glow like embers in a forgotten forge. Lie down. Let your eyes soften and follow me to 1365 CE, where you stand in a Mali Empire village near Jen, the air thick with the tang of molten iron and the smoky scent of charcoal. You're an apprentice weaver, your hands still learning the loom's rhythm, but today you've come to the blacksmith's yard to deliver a bolt of cloth. The sun is low, painting the mud brick huts gold, and the clang of hammer on anvil rings like a heartbeat through the dusty air. The blacksmith, a broad-shouldered man named Sekou, works a bellows, his face glistening with sweat as flames leap in the forge. Historians note that Mali's ironworking advanced for its time, crafted tools and weapons that strengthened the empire's trade and defense, a legacy tied to Mansa Musa's era. Sekou's nickname, Iron Tongue, comes from his sharp wit, though some whisper it hints at a secret. He once forged a blade for a royal, but for whom the story is murky, lost in the smoke of oral tales, and historians debate whether such a blade existed or was a griot's flourish. You set the cloth down, its fibers rough under your fingers, and watch Sekou shape a glowing iron bar. Sparks fly, stinging the air, and you step back, the heat warming your face. Sekou pauses, wiping his brow, and grins. "Weaver, you look like a camel staring at a sandstorm." You laugh, replying, "Better than your anvil, Sekou. It's taken more blows than my pride." He chuckles, but a misplaced swing sends a spark onto his apron, which he swats out with a curse. The village children giggle, and you think of Idris's camel just in the desert, another spark of humor in Mali's vast tapestry. Sekou's hammer resumes its rhythm steady, and you glance at your pouch where the bronze ring, Kofi's kola nut, and Yaya's bead rest, small relics of your journey. The forge's glow lights a pile of tools, plows, spears, each a testament to Mali's strength. A villager whispers of a royal blade said to be buried with a forgotten warrior, but Sekou only shrugs when asked. Was it real or a tale to match his nickname? The fire offers no answers, only the crackle of burning wood and the scent of iron. A child tosses a pebble, missing the forge but startling a goat which bleats and darts off. Clumsy as a hammer with no handle, Sekou mutters, and you smile, the village alive with small joys. You think of Demba's griot song and Nyani, the queen who might have wielded such a blade. Mali's iron fueled its power, but did it also arm its rivals? Historians puzzle over the empire's technological edge, unsure how far it spread. You pick up a cooled iron nail, its weight solid in your hand, and thank Sekou, who nods his hammer, never pausing. The sun dips, the forge's glow brighter now, and you head back to your loom, the cloth's weight light compared to the iron's promise. The village hums, the air cooling, and you let the clang of Sekou's anvil fade behind you. The mystery of the royal blade lingers like the heat on your skin, and you walk home, the stars emerging above, carrying Mali's fire in your thoughts. The night is quiet, its darkness a canvas for dreams that shimmer like gold in a trader's palm. It's 1370 CE, and you stand in the bustling market of Gao, the Mali Empire's eastern hub, where the Niger River glints under a midday sun. You're a grain merchant, your hands dusted with millet, your tunic stiff with the sweat of hauling sacks. The air is alive with the scents of roasted locust beans, dried fish, and the sharp tang of salt slabs stacked under woven awnings. The market hums with voices, Mandinka Songhai Arabic blending with the clatter of cowrie shells and the bleat of goats. You're negotiating with a salt trader, a wiry man named Amadou, whose scales tip precariously as he weighs your millet. Mali's markets, historians say, were the empire's pulse-trading gold, salt, and grain across the Sahara even after Mansa Musa's death. But today, Amadou's scales break the wooden arms, snapping with a crack that draws laughs from the crowd. Amadou, your scales are as honest as a camel's promise, you tease, and he grins, tossing a salt shard your way. Better than your millet, merchant, it's half dust. The jest echoes Yaya's boasts in this same market years ago, and you feel the weight of your pouch where Kofi's kola nut, Yaya's bead, and the bronze ring rest. The broken scales spark talk of Mali's economy. Some say Musa's gold made it strong. Others whisper his lavish spending weakened it, leaving successors to falter. Historians debate whether the empire's wealth endured or crumbled under mismanagement, a question as unsteady as Amadou's scales. You offer a sack of millet for a salt slab, and Amadou agrees, muttering about risky trades. The deal feels like a gamble, but so does the empire's future. A child kicks a stone, nearly toppling a basket of kola nuts, and you call, "Careful, or you'll trade with the goats." The child giggles, darting off, and the market's rhythm pulls you back. You glance at the river, its waters carrying tales of Musa's gold now fading into memory. Was the empire still as strong as in his day, or were cracks forming like Amadou's scales? The salt slab is heavy in your hands, its edges rough, and you think of Sekou's iron nail, another piece of Mali's strength. A griot's voice rises nearby, singing of Musa's markets, but a line about a lost trade route catches your ear. Did it exist, or was it another griot's flourish? The market offers no clarity, only the press of bodies and the scent of spices. You hoist your salt, the sun warming your shoulders, and head toward the river bank, the crowd's noise softening. The Niger sparkles, its current steady, and you let its flow carry your thoughts. The empire's wealth, like the broken scales, feels fragile now, a mystery wrapped in gold and dust. You walk home, the stars waking above, and let Gao's bustle fade the trader's gamble, lingering in your dreams. Perhaps you, like me, carry with you an era that no one speaks of anymore, but tonight I will. It's 1375 CE, and you stand in the royal court of Nyani, the Mali Empire's capital, where the air is heavy with the scent of frankincense and the faint dust of crumbling mud-brick walls. You're a palace servant, your hands rough from scrubbing clay floors, your tunic patched from years of service. The sun filters through high lattice windows, casting golden patterns that flicker like fading memories across the throne room. The court is quieter than you remember, the drums soft, the crowd sparse as a new king. Mansa Musa's brother takes the throne. The throne carved with spirals and inlaid with gold gleams dully under torchlight, a relic of Mansa Musa's golden age. Historians note that Suleiman inherited a vast but strained empire. Its wealth stretched thin after Musa's lavish Hajj and disputed succession. Whispers swirl about a mysterious advisor, a figure who guided Suleiman's rise but whose name no one speaks aloud. Was this advisor a loyal scholar or a schemer with hidden motives? The truth is lost, buried in oral tales and unwritten chronicles, leaving historians to puzzle over the shadows behind the throne. You polish a bronze lamp, its surface cool under your cloth, and overhear courtiers murmuring. Suleiman hesitates, one says, as if the crown weighs more than gold. You glance at the Mansa, his face lined, his eyes distant. A courtier drops a clay cup, its shatter echoing in the quiet hall, and you stifle a smile, remembering Amadou's broken scales in Gao's market. Clumsy as a camel in a palace, you mutter, and a nearby guard, Kofi, not your Timbuktu friend, but sharing his name, chuckles. Careful, servant, or you'll polish the throne next. You grin, but the court's tension pulls you back. Suleiman speaks of trade, his voice steady but lacking Musa's fire. The griots sing of past glories, but the crowd seems restless, their faith in the empire wavering. You think of the bronze ring in your pouch, nestled with Kofi's kola nut, and Yaya's bead, its spiral, a faint echo of the throne's carvings. Was the advisor a myth, or did they steer Suleiman's caution? The lamp's shine offers no answers, only the scent of wax and the soft creak of the palace's wooden beams. A breeze stirs, carrying the distant hum of Niani's market, and you pause, your cloth still. The succession's mystery lingers. Why did Musa's heirs falter? And who guided Suleiman? Historians debate whether internal strife or external pressures weakened Mali, their answers as fragile as the cup's shards. A young page trips scattering palm leaves, and Kofi teases, "Boy, you'll sweep the stars from the sky." The laughter is soft, but the court's quiet returns heavy as the throne's shadow. You finish polishing the lamp, gleaming, and step toward the courtyard, the air cooling as night falls. The palace looms behind you, its walls holding secrets no griot sings. You think of Demba's tale of a forgotten queen, her story as elusive as the advisor's name. The stars emerge, their light faint, and you walk home, the sand gritty under your sandals. Niani's pulse feels slower now, the empire's golden glow dimming. You clutch your pouch, the ring's weight, a reminder of Mali's mysteries, and let the night's hush carry you toward sleep. Don't leave too early tonight. Some stories are so delicate, like sand slipping through your fingers, that they might vanish if you turn away too soon. It's 1380 CE, and you walk with a caravan crossing the Sahara, the Mali Empire's trade route still pulsing, though fainter now. You're a camel herder, your hands calloused from ropes, your tunic dusted with sand that smells of the desert's dry heart. The sun burns low, painting the dunes red, and the air carries the faint jingle of camel bells and the musky scent of beasts trudging under heavy loads. Your camels carry salt and cloth, but one, a stubborn beast named Zara, bears an odd cargo, a sealed clay jar, its surface etched with spirals. Mali's trade historians say sustained the empire even as its power waned under Mansa Suleiman, with caravans linking Timbuktu to distant markets. But Zara's jar sparks whispers among the nomads. Is it a royal relic, perhaps tied to Mansa Musa's era, or just a trader's whim? No one knows, and the jar's contents remain a mystery as elusive as the advisor who shaped Suleiman's court. You tug Zara's rope, her snort loud in the quiet desert. A nomad Malik laughs as Zara stops chewing cud with defiance. That camel's got more pride than a king, he says, adjusting his turban. You grin, replying maybe she's carrying the king's pride in that jar. The caravan chuckles, and you think of Seku's spark-scorched apron in the blacksmith's yard, another moment of stubborn Mali spirit. Zara moves at last, but the jar rattles, drawing curious glances. The fire's glow lights the camp as you rest the sand cool beneath your mat. Malik tells a tale of a lost trade route, one that vanished with Musa's gold. Did it ever exist, or was it a nomad's dream? Historians debate Mali's declining trade, unsure if routes faded or shifted. You touch your pouch where the bronze ring spiral matches the jar's etchings alongside Kofi's kola nut and Yaya's bead. The jar's mystery pulls at you like the ring's weight in your hand. A camel bell jingles as Zara shifts, nearly toppling a waterskin. Clumsy as a dune in a storm, Malik mutters, and you laugh, the desert's quiet, swallowing the sound. The nomads settle their stories, fading, and you lie back, the stars bright above. The jar's secret, like Mali's fading strength, hovers beyond reach. You close your eyes, the camel bells a soft lullaby, and let the Sahara's whisper carry you toward dreams, the empire's pulse growing faint in the night. The night is a soft cradle, its quiet weaving dreams that shimmer like moonlight on the Niger. Lie down and let me guide you to 1385 CE, where you sit in a hushed classroom within Timbuktu's Sankor University, the Mali Empire's fading beacon of wisdom. You're a scribe's assistant, your hands stained with ink, your tunic dusted with the fine powder of parchment dust. The air is warm, heavy with the scent of old leather and the faint sweetness of drying papyrus, while the sun's last rays slip through a lattice window, casting intricate shadows across the mud-brick walls. You're sorting manuscripts for a teacher, a stern woman named Zainab, whose notes on astronomy filled the table before you. The university historian's note remains a hub of learning even as Mali's power wanes under Mansa Suleiman's successors, its libraries preserving texts that drew scholars from across the world. But today, Zainab's notes are missing a page, a critical one, detailing a star chart from Mansa Musa's era. Was it misplaced or deliberately removed to hide a discovery? The mystery lingers as historians debate whether Mali's intellectual peak was lost to time or suppressed by later rulers. You stack a pile of manuscripts, their edges brittle under your fingers, and glance at Zainab, who's muttering about careless scribes. She drops a quill, its feather drifting to the floor, and you smile, remembering Bakari's tumbled scrolls in this same city years ago. Zainab, your quill's charting its own stars, you tease softly. She snorts, retrieving it. Better than your sorting assistant, it's slower than a camel's nap. The students chuckle, their voices a soft ripple in the room's quiet, and you think of Malik's jest about Zara's stubbornness in the desert. The missing page nags at you. You find a fragment under a book, its ink faded but hinting at a constellation tied to a royal prophecy. You show it to Zainab, who frowns. Probably just a student's scribble, she says, but her eyes linger. Was it part of Musa's legacy or a later addition? You touch your pouch where the bronze ring, Kofi's kola nut, and Yaya's bead rest, the ring's spiral echoing the fragment's curves. The classroom silence feels heavy, like the weight of Mali's fading glory. Did later kings hide such knowledge to control the narrative, or did time simply claim it, A student knocks over an ink pot, its splash staining a mat. Clumsy as a star falling, Zainab mutters, and you laugh, the tension easing. The room hums with the scratch of quills and the rustle of pages, but the missing page's mystery persists. You think of Demba's griot song about a forgotten queen, her story as elusive as this chart. Mali's libraries, once vibrant, now feel like echoes, their secrets slipping away. You finish sorting the parchment's texture grounding you and step toward the courtyard, the air cooling as night falls. The minaret looms against a sky turning indigo, its shadow long and quiet. You walk home, the sand gritty under your sandals, the classroom's hush trailing you. The stars above seem to whisper of lost knowledge, and you clutch your pouch, the ring's weight a reminder of Mali's mysteries. Timbuktu's lights fade, and you let the night's silence carry you toward sleep, the scholar's silence a soft echo in your dreams. Now turn out the lights, lie down, and let me take you through a dream of history that has not yet rested. It's 1390 CE, and you drift on the Niger River in a narrow canoe, the Mali Empire's waters lapping gently at its wooden sides. You're a net maker, your hands rough from twisting hemp, your tunic damp with the river's mist. The air smells of wet reeds and the faint tang of fish, while the moon, high and silver, bathes the water in a soft glow. The river's current is slow, its ripples catching the light like scattered coins, and the distant hum of a village fire carries across the stillness. You're mending a net, its fibers coarse under your fingers, when you notice something caught in its weave, a small carved wooden amulet shaped like a crescent moon. The Niger historians say was Mali's lifeline, carrying trade and stories through cities like Jenne and Gao, even as the empire weakened after Mansa Musa's death. The amulet sparks whispers among riverside folk, a relic of a royal ritual, perhaps from Musa's time or just a child's lost toy. Its origin is a mystery, as no records confirm such rituals and oral tales blur fact with legend. You turn the amulet in your hands, its wood smooth and cool, and think of the bronze ring in your pouch, its spiral a cousin to this crescent. A fisherman, Samba, rose past, his voice low. Caught the Mansa's spirit, yet netmaker, he teases his paddle, splashing softly. You smile, holding up the amulet. Only if spirits wear wood, Samba. Got a net for your tall tales. He laughs, but his oar snags a reed, nearly tipping his canoe. Clumsy as a fish on land, you call, and he waves you off the river, swallowing his chuckle. The moment echoes Candy's jest by the river years ago, tying you to Mali's waters. The amulet's weight pulls at you. Was it part of a forgotten ceremony or a griot's embellishment? You think of Zainab's missing star chart, another lost piece of Mali's story. Historians debate whether the empire's decline came from weak rulers or external pressures, and the amulet offers no answers, only the river's quiet song. You tuck it into your pouch beside Kofi's kola nut, Yaya's bead, and the ring, a growing collection of Mali's whispers. The village fire's glow flickers on the shore, and you hear a griot's voice singing of Musa's gold, now a distant memory. A heron cries its wings, cutting the night, and you smile, thinking of Samba's near tumble. The river carries you on its current steady, and you mend your net, the hemp's rhythm soothing. The amulet's crescent haunts you, a hint of rituals no one sings. You steer toward the bank, tying your canoe to a mangrove root, its bark rough under your hands. The night deepens, the Niger's flow a lullaby, and you step ashore, the amulet's mystery lingering like moonlight on the water. You walk home, the stars bright above, and let the river's drift carry you toward dreams. The night is a gentle whisper, its darkness a canvas for tales that flicker like flames in the desert. Lie down, let your eyes grow heavy, and follow me to 1400 CE, where you sit by a nomad's fire in the Sahara, The Mali Empire's trade routes now a fading thread in the sand. You're a bead maker, your hands dusted with clay and the faint shimmer of ground glass, your tunic stiff with the dust of a long journey. The air is cool, carrying the dry scent of sand and the smoky tang of burning acacia wood. The fire's glow paints the faces of the nomads around you, their camels snoring softly in the shadows, and the stars above burn bright like beads strung across the sky. You're traveling to trade your beads in Gao, but tonight the nomads share stories of a lost Mali city said to lie hidden beyond the dunes. Historians note that Mali's influence waned by this time, its wealth and power fractured under weak successors to Mansa Musa. The elder nomad, a woman named Fatimata, speaks of a city of gold ruled by a queen whose name no griot sings. Was it real or a tale woven to keep the desert's secrets? The mystery endures as no ruins match her story and oral histories shift like the sands. You string a bead, its glass cool under your fingers, and listen as Fatimata's voice weaves the tale. A young nomad, Omar, interrupts, dropping a water skin that splashes the fire, sending up a hiss of steam. By the stars he curses, scrambling to save it. You laugh softly, calling Omar you're watering the flames instead of the camels. He grins, shaking his head. Better than your beads, bead maker, they'll sink us in the sand. The group chuckles, and you think of Samba's near tumble on the Niger, another clumsy moment in Mali's fading story. Fatimata resumes, her voice low, describing a city with walls of gold and wells of sweet water. You touch your pouch where the bronze ring, Kofi's kola nut, Yaya's bead, and the crescent amulet rest, the ring's spiral echoing the elder's tale of spiraled towers. Was this city a myth or a forgotten truth buried by time? Historians debate whether Mali's decline erased such places or if they were griot's dreams. The fire crackles, its warmth a comfort against the desert's chill, and you string another bead, its weight grounding you. A camel snorts its bell, jingling, and Omar teases, "That beast's got better stories than you." Grandmother Fatimata swats him gently, and the laughter ripples light as the night air. You think of Demba's song of a forgotten queen in Niani, her story as elusive as this city. The nomad's tales speak of Musa's gold, now a whisper, and you wonder if his wealth built such a place or merely inspired its legend. The fire's glow fades, and you lie back on your mat, the sand cool beneath you. The city's mystery lingers like the beads in your hand, and you let the nomads' voices carry you towards sleep, the Sahara's silence a soft lullaby. Don't drift away just yet. Some stories are as fragile as a bridge over a dry river waiting to be crossed before they crumble. It's 1410 CE, and you stand on the banks of a seasonal stream near Jennah in the Mali Empire's waning heart. You're a stone cutter, your hands rough from chiseling granite, your tunic dusted with the gray powder of your trade. The air smells of damp earth and the faint sweetness of wild grasses, while the sun low in the sky gilds the stream's dry bed, its stones glinting like scattered coins. Before you is a crumbling stone bridge, its arches cracked but still standing, a relic of Mali's past. You've come to repair the bridge, a structure historians say reflects Mali's engineering skill built to link trade routes in Mansa Musa's era. A carved stone at its base, half buried, bears a spiral pattern hinting at a royal commission. Was it Musa's order or an earlier king's? The carving's purpose is a mystery, as no records clarify its origin, and historians debate whether it was decorative or symbolic. You trace the spiral with your chisel, its granite cool, and think of the bronze ring in your pouch, its matching spiral, a thread tying you to Mali's secrets. A local herder, Aisata, approaches, her goats bleating behind her. She eyes the bridge, then you, cutting stones or dream stonecutter. She teases her staff, tapping the ground. You smile, replying, Stones Isata dreams are for your goats. She laughs, but a goat nibbles her shawl, pulling it loose. Clumsy as a bridge in a flood, she mutters, and you chuckle, remembering Omar's splashed waterskin by the nomad's fire. The moment lightens the air, but the bridge's cracks feel heavy like Molly's fading strength. You chip at a stone, the chisel's rhythm steady, and overhear villagers whisper of the bridge's past, how it carried gold-laden caravans. Some say it broke under their weight. Others claim neglect after Musa's death. Historians puzzle over Mali's decline, unsure if trade routes shifted or rulers faltered. The carved spiral haunts you like Fatimata's lost city, and you wonder if it marked a forgotten triumph. Your pouch with Kofi's kola nut, Yaya's bead, the crescent amulet, and the ring feels heavier now, each item a piece of Mali's puzzle. A child tosses a pebble, skipping it across the dry stream, and Isata calls, "Careful, or you'll rebuild this bridge yourself." The child giggles, darting off, and the village's quiet returns. You work on the sun, dipping the bridge's shadow stretching long. The spiral's mystery lingers, its meaning as elusive as the empire's glory. You pause your chisel still and head toward home, the streambed silent beneath the stars. Jenna's lights fade, and you let the night's hush carry you toward dreams, the broken bridge a faint echo in your mind. Are you still awake? The night is a soft murmur, its silence holding stories that linger like the last notes of a griot's song. It's 1420 CE, and you stand in Timbuktu's fading market, the Mali Empire's once vibrant heart, now quieter under a dusty sky. You're a spice trader, your hands stained with saffron's golden hue, your tunic carrying the sharp tang of cumin and the faint sweetness of dried dates tucked in your pouch. The air hums with the sense of roasted peanuts and the musty earth of the nearby Niger, while the sun, low and heavy, casts long shadows across the market's sandy lanes. The stalls are sparser now, their awnings frayed, but traders still barter salt for cloth, millet for beads. Historians note that Timbuktu's markets, once the pulse of Mali's wealth under Mansa Musa, began to wane as trade routes shifted to rival empires like Songhai. A griot nearby, his kora's strings worn, sings of Musa's ghost, said to wander these stalls guarding his gold. Is it a tale to draw buyers, or does it hint at a lost treasure hidden in the city? The mystery persists as no evidence confirms such a hoard, and oral stories blur like the desert's horizon. You weigh a pinch of saffron, its threads delicate in your palm, when a trader Binta drops a basket of kola nuts, scattering them across the sand. By the river she curses, scrambling to gather them. You laugh softly, calling Binta, you're trading with the dust now. She grins, tossing you a nut. Better than your spices, trader, they're worth less than my patience. The crowd chuckles, and you think of Isata's goat-nibbled shawl by the broken bridge, another moment of Mali's stubborn spirit. You tuck the nut into your pouch beside Kofi's kola nut. Yaya's bead, the crescent amulet, and the bronze ring its spiral, a faint echo of the bridge's carving. The griot's song shifts, weaving Musa's legend, his gold, his Hajj, his empire, but a line about a hidden vault catches your ear. Was it real or a griot's flourish to keep Musa's name alive? Historians debate whether Mali's wealth vanished into rival hands or was buried by loyalists. The market's hum offers no answers, only the clink of cowrie shells and the bleat of a distant goat. A child kicks a stone, nearly toppling a salt slab, and Binta scolds, "Careful, or you'll sell the market to the camels." The child giggles, darting off, and the moment lightens the air. You barter your saffron for a bolt of cloth, its fibers rough under your fingers, and think of Demba's forgotten queen in Niani, her story as elusive as Musa's ghost. The market feels smaller now, its glory fading like the sun's light. You wander toward the river, the griot's kora fading, and let Timbuktu's quiet settle around you. The mystery of the vault lingers like the saffron scent on your hands, and you head home, the stars waking above, carrying Molly's echoes into the night. Don't leave too early tonight. Some stories are as fleeting as a mirage vanishing if you turn away too soon. It's 1430 CE, and you trek through the Sahara, the Mali Empire's sands swallowing the last traces of its golden age. You're a caravan guide, your hands calloused from rains, your turban dusted with the desert's fine grit. The air is dry, smelling of sun-scorched sand and the faint musk of camels plodding behind you. The moon rises, its silver light painting the dunes, and the soft jingle of camel bells hums like a distant memory. Your small caravan carries cloth and salt, a shadow of the great caravans of Mansa Musa's time. Historians say Mali's trade routes weakened as Songhai rose, siphoning wealth from Timbuktu and Gao. Beneath a dune you spot a glint, a buried clay shard etched with a spiral like the one on the Jannah Bridge. Is it a relic of Mali's past? Perhaps a marker of a lost outpost or just a potter's discard? The mystery endures as no records pinpoint such outposts, and the desert guards its secrets. You kneel brushing sand from the shard, its clay cool under your fingers. A nomad Hawa notices and teases. Found Musa's gold, yet guide, you smile, holding up the shard. Only if gold's made of clay, Hawa. She laughs, but her camel trips, spilling a water skin that soaks the sand. Clumsy as a dune in a storm, you mutter, and the caravan chuckles, echoing Omar's water skin mishap by the nomad's fire. You tuck the shard into your pouch beside Kofi's kola nut. Yaya's bead the crescent amulet, and the bronze ring their weight, a quiet link to Mali's past. Hawa tells a tale of a lost outpost, its wells dry, but its walls marked with spirals. Was it real, or a nomad's dream to keep hope alive? Historians debate whether Mali's outposts fell to raids or faded with trade. You think of the griot's song of Musa's ghost in Timbuktu, another echo of loss. The shard spiral haunts you like the ring's curve, and you wonder if it marked a forgotten glory. The caravan moves on the sand, shifting underfoot, and you guide the camels, their bells a soft rhythm in the night. A star falls streaking the sky, and Hawa whispers, a sign. You smile, joking, or just a star too tired to shine. The laughter is soft, and you settle by a small fire, the desert's chill creeping in. The outpost's mystery lingers like the shard's weight in your pouch. You lie back, the sand cool beneath you, and let the camel bells lull you toward sleep, Mali's veil drawn tight over its secrets. The night is a soft dream, its silence holding stories that fade like footprints in the sand. It's 1440 CE. And you stand in the ruins of Niani, the Mali Empire's once grand capital, now a whisper of its golden past. You're a potter, your hands rough from shaping clay, your tunic dusted with the red earth of the savannah. The air carries the scent of dry grass and the faint tang of the Niger River nearby, while the sun sets, painting the crumbling mud brick walls in hues of amber and rose. A faint carving on a broken wall, a spiral, catches your eye, its lines worn but proud. You're here to gather clay, but the ruins pull you in their silence, heavy with memory. Historians say Niani fell as Mali weakened its power, eclipsed by Songhai and internal strife after Mansa Musa's successors faltered. The spiral carving, like the one on the desert shard, hints at a final royal decree. Perhaps a call to rebuild, but its meaning is lost. Was it a king's last hope or a griot's forgotten mark? The mystery lingers as no chronicles explain it, and Niani's story fades into oral whispers. You trace the spiral, its stone cool under your fingers, and think of the bronze ring in your pouch, its matching curve a thread through Mali's history, alongside Kofi's kola nut, Yaya's bead, and the crescent amulet. A child scavenging nearby drops a clay pot, its shatter echoing in the quiet. Clumsy as a ghost in a ruin you tease, and she giggles, running off. The moment recalls Binta's scattered cola nuts in Timbuktu's market, a spark of life in Mali's fading heart. A griot's voice drifts from a nearby village singing of Musa's gold, now a legend. The spiral's purpose haunts you. Was it a plea to remember or a mark of surrender? Historians debate why Mali fell, blaming weak rulers or shifting trade. You kneel, gathering clay, its texture grounding you, and feel Niani's pulse, faint but stubborn. The griot's song fades, and you rise, the ruins silent under the stars. You head home, the clay heavy in your hands, and let the night's hush carry you toward dreams, the golden memory of Mali lingering like dust on your skin. The night is a gentle tide pulling you softly toward sleep. The story of Mali, its gold, its kings, and its mysteries settles now like sand after a storm. You've walked through Timbuktu's markets, drifted on the Niger's waters, and sat by desert fires, carrying the weight of a kingdom that shone bright and then faded. The bronze ring, the kola nut, the bead, the amulet, the shard, small relics of a vast dream rest in your thoughts, their spirals whispering of a time when Mali's name echoed across continents. Let them rest now as you do their secret safe in the night's embrace. The stars above are quiet, the wind still, and the empire's golden memory drifts into silence. Close your eyes, let your breath slow and sink into the peace of a story told. The night is quiet. Good night.